Okay, guys, so we're going to briefly review what we've done before, and then we're going to move on to solving inequalities with just one step, and we'll solve for the value of x. So it says determine which number is the solution to the inequality. And this is what we've been doing in the past. So a plus 11 is less than 5. Is it 3, 4, or 5? And remember, we just have to plug it in. So if we plug in 3 plus 11 is 14. So is 14 less than 5 or 15? Yes. 4 plus 11 would be 15. Is 15 less than 15? No. And obviously if we had 5, that would be 16. And is 16 less than 15? No. So therefore our solution to this inequality is 3. The next one, it says, is the given value a solution of the inequality, yes or no? Okay, if we look at 8n is less than or equal to 32 and n is 3, what do? We plug it in. So this is not 83, this is 8 times 3. So that's going to be 8 times 3 is less than 32 or equal to. So we could have an equal to value in here, okay? So let's think about our multiples of 3. So we're going to say, or our multiples of 8. So 8 times 3 is 24. Is 24 less than 32? Yes. So is it is in a solution of 3? Yes, it is. Okay, write and graph the following inequalities. Swim practice will be no more than 45 laps. Okay, swim practice will be no more than 45 laps. Okay, do I know how many laps swim practice is? No. So I'm going to put an X. I do not know how long swim practice is, but I do know that it's not more than 45. So I could say that swim practice is less than 45. But let's reread the statement. It says it can be no more than 45, but can it include 45? Yes. So that tells me that I could also include my equal to sign. And when I graph my inequality, I have to put those three numbers down here. We could put 45, 46, and 44 over here. Okay, so now x is less than. If I want less than, I'm going to have to make my arrow go to the left. And since it's less than or equal to, I'm going to have a closed circle. Okay, and my arrow is going to go to the left because it's less than. For the last one, it says Kevin ran for more than 6 miles. Okay, I don't know how many miles Kevin ran, so I'm going to put X. But I do know he ran greater than 6. Does this include 6? No. He ran more than 6. So I'm going to have 6, 7, and 5. Now, if he ran more than 6, it's going to be an open circle, and I'm going to go greater than 6, so I'm going to draw my arrow to the right. If you need to, go ahead and pause the video if you need to look back over some of the things that I worked out, if you are confused. Next. Okay, there aren't many notes here today, but as I go through these, you're going to have to pause the video and practice doing these on your piece of paper. So go ahead and go to your table of contents in your notebook and title it Solving One-Step Inequalities. You're going to go ahead and turn to the new sheet of paper, write down solve for the unknown by using the inverse operation, okay? And remember when we talked about inverse, we talked about the additive inverse. And so the additive inverse was basically any number plus its opposite equals 0, right? So -2 plus 2 is 0. 5 plus -5 is 0. So you're going to see how that goes into place. So go ahead and write that sentence down. Pause the video right now if you need time to write this down. Okay, so you should have that sentence written down. Now I want you to practice as I show you how to do these. I'm going to do 2, then you're going to do 2. Or let's see here, I might do these 4 and then you can try the next few, okay? I'll try some and then you're going to try some. Now, solve for the unknown by using inverse operations. So as I go, you're going to copy down what I do, but you might take longer than I do. So I'm going to need you to watch what I do and then practice what I do, okay? So pause the video after I work it out so you can write it down. So x plus 7 is greater than 10. We need to be able to graph this, but we need a specific number to put on the graph. There is no specific number for x because inequalities have infinite answers. So to be able to solve for this, I'm going to have to use the inverse operation. So how do I get x by itself? And yes, you may think of this when we were talking about proportions and you were thinking this is hard. But let's talk about inverse operations, okay? So plus 7, what is the opposite of adding 7? Is subtracting 7, right? So 7 minus 7 is going to get me 0, right? Now, I want to get x by itself. I'm going to do the inverse operation. That cancels out and makes it 0. What I do to one side of my equation, one side of my inequality, I'm going to do the other side. I subtracted by 7 on the left, and I'm going to subtract by 7 on the right. 10 minus 7 is 3. So now my inequality reads x is greater than 3. So now I can go over here to my number line, write 3, write 2, and write 4. And so now I have x is greater than 3. It does not equal 2, so it's going to be open circle. And it's greater than 3, so I'm going to go to the right. So go ahead and pause the video, copy that down if you need to. Next, I'm going to do the inverse operation again. I have a -3 this time. So how do I use the inverse to create 0? -3 plus 3 gives me 0. Do you see that? Over here, I just used the opposite sign. Positive 7, take away 7. Now I had a -3. I'm going to do the opposite and add 3. I get 0. They cancel out. What I do to one side, I do to the other. So what is 9 plus 3? 9, 10, 11, 12. That gives me 12. I'm going to rewrite my inequality. So that is going to be x is less than 12, okay? Now I'm going to copy it down on my number line, 12, 13, and then 11. And I'm going to be less than 12. So that's open circle to the left. Okay? Now, let's do the inverse operation for multiplication and division. And these are a little bit more tricky. Okay? What's the opposite of multiplication? It is division, right? So this is the same thing as 5 over 1 times x. The opposite of multiplication is division. 5 divided by 5 cancels out and gives us 1. What I do to one side, I do to the other. On the left, I divided by 5. On the right, I'm going to divide by 5, okay? What is 45 divided by 5? And that is 9. So my new inequality is x is less than or equal to 9. Now I can go over here to my inequality, write 9, 10, and 8, and x is less than or equal to 9. That's going to be a circle filled in. Draw it to the left because it's less than. Next, we're going to go over here. This is division. What's the opposite of division? That would be multiplication. So if I were to rewrite this as x over 8, just to make it look easier. Okay, how do I cancel out this 8? I'm going to multiply by 8 over 1. These 8s are going to cancel out, right? Okay. If I multiplied by 8 on this side, what do you think I'm going to do to this side? Multiply by 8. So what is 3 times 8? That would be 24. So x is greater than or equal to 24. So I'm going to go over here to my inequality. I'm going to write 24, 25, 23. okay, is greater than or equal to, so it's a closed circle. And I'm going to go to my right. Okay, go ahead, pause the video if you need to. We are going to be working on this some more. Hopefully tomorrow and whenever I come back, okay? So let's go to the next one. These are the same ones. So just break it down. I want to use the inverse. So I'm going to do minus 16. Okay. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. Okay. So now this is 84 minus 16. Okay, 84 minus 16 is 68. So it's going to be x is greater than or equal to 68. Okay, this is going to be 68, 69, 67. Okay, it's greater than or equal to, closed circle, and to the right. Now, this next problem. What's the additive inverse of negative 7? That's plus 7. It's going to cancel. Plus 7. What is 15 plus 7? 22. So x is less than or equal to 22. I'm going to fill it in over here. Okay, so it's going to be 22, 23, 21. It is less than or equal to, so I'm going to have a closed circle. Bear with me as I use this computer, and it's going to be less than. Okay. Next, we're going to practice some multiplication division again. Go ahead, please pause the video anytime that you need to. So this is multiplication. Remember 10x is 10 times x. The opposite of multiplication is division. I'm going to use the inverse. It's going to cancel out. Divide by 10 on the left, have to divide by 10 on the right. So my new inequality is x. See, look, I just copied the x down, is less than 9 because 90 divided by 10 is 9. So I'm going to write down 9, 10, and 8. Okay, x is less than 9, open circle, and I'm going to the left. Okay, what is the opposite of division? That would be multiplication. So now if I multiply by 5, those cancel. And then I'm going to take 15 and multiply it by 5. Anybody know what 15 times 5 is? It's 75. So x is greater than 75. Okay, so I'm going to copy down 75, 76, 74. Okay, x is greater than is open circle to the right. If any of this confused you or if I was going too fast, please stop the video, rewind, and watch it again, okay? I'm going to clear this off, so you might need to rewind or pause it if you need these notes, okay? So now, I have some practice problems for you to do. I'm going to have you do the first 5 problems just for today's class period. Once you have completed these 5 problems, then you are going to go on to iReady. So let's look at number 1. It says solve and graph. All right, 0.5x is less than 2.5, okay? You can see that on the left side, x is not by itself. What's the opposite of multiplication? That would be division. So if you divide on the left, you're going to divide on the right. Make sure that you solve for x and you also graph your inequality. If you forgot how to solve for x, please look back at the notes that you copied down in your notebook. I'm going to come back on Wednesday and I'm going to check your notes to make sure that you completed, okay? So work on 1 through 4 right this second. Hit pause. Once you're finished working 1 through 4, you're going to go, and I'm about to click to number 5. So now's a great time to pause it, finish the first 4, because when you unpause it, I'm going to move to number 5, okay? All right, number 5. Which of the following inequalities represents the number line, okay? So you're going to have to solve A, B, C, D. You can probably make some educated guesses and at least knock out 2 of those based on the signs. Then you're going to solve for those and see which one is the best solution. Remember, the signs, the way the signs read is very important in the way that it is supposed to be drawn, okay? So like I said before, when you're finished with these 5, go ahead and stack your notebooks in the middle of the table and go ahead and go on I ready. Thank you so much. Please have a wonderful day. I will see you back on Wednesday when I get back from my math meeting, okay?